Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about the newest episode of The Walking Dead. Again, there's not going to be a stream. We will do a stream most likely for the finale. I'm not really sure what else we're going to be able to get done as far as Walking Dead wise, but during the break, the main focus is going to be the Flaw in All reviews. Speaking of which, I'm working some overtime. That's why we can't stream, and I'm grinding heavy for Flaw vs. All review, Friday the 13th, Part 5. We also have Halloween coming up, Halloween 2018. We're going to do that around the time of Halloween Kills. That's going to be exciting. I don't know when Halloween Kills comes out on Blu-ray. That's when we can do the review for that, so stay tuned for that, but keep an eye out because close to the release on Blu-ray, not in theaters, not streaming, it has to be in physical form. Anyway, so check out the Flaw in All reviews, all the views, all the likes, all the comments. It helps a lot. We're starting to see a boost with that, so that's fantastic. But let's get into the recent episode of The Walking Dead called On the Inside, Season 11, Episode 6. It's one that I saw a lot of comments of fans that weren't really too thrilled about it. I understand. It's funny because this one and the next one, I can definitely see the points why it wasn't too good. I'm getting a lot of negative feedback from these two episodes. And again, it's funny. I think I enjoyed them more than some of the ones we've gotten earlier. But still, it's not much more. For me, these are just okay. There's a lot of the more negative aspects comes from the fact that this is the final season and it feels like these are just slightly better than the bonus episodes. Now, I think I hated the bonus episodes, so I think I am enjoying these more. But again, as far as progressing the plot or feeling like a triumphant season finale, series finale, no, these just feel like bonus episodes bulked up a bit. Anyhow, so as a standalone, this isn't too bad, but when I think about it, I'm not going to just put this episode in and watch it by itself. But as a horror fan, I really like the creepy vibe, how they shot it, how they filmed it, the atmosphere, how it looks. In the beginning, it looks like they're being led a certain way. You can see it in the bushes when they film it. Now, the Walking Dead world is well established and grounded, so we know what to expect. You see it coming a mile away. I'm surprised they waited so long to reveal its, animalistic humans, cannibal types. That's the only thing it could be. So I was a little bit miffed why they waited so long in this episode to do the reveal. Because again, it's unless they do some weird type of, change, the world that they've already established, that's all it was going to be. But I like that idea of just having a horror-like episode. I do think we should have just gotten it in a season where we weren't focusing so heavily on finishing the storyline off for the whole main series. Anyhow, as an opener, I think the creepy vibe in itself, and again, that horror aspect is what I personally like the most. Connie, one thing that tripped me up a bit is Virgil keeps saying that she's not sleeping and yada, yada, yada. But one big thing is Connie, the writers know, but Connie doesn't know the Whisperers are done with. She doesn't know that at all. So in this episode, I'm expecting like this huge fear and paranoia of the Whisperers. And it looked like we were starting to get that. And then I thought it was going to lead into the animalistic cannibals, animal cannibals in the house. And it felt like they were gonna do something like that, something really intense, and then they just stopped for whatever reason. So that's another thing. Like, Connie doesn't know the Whisperers are dead. So just how they board up the house, how they're zombies, that's fine. They're not getting in. But Whisperers most likely are. They're strategic, they're smart, they're clever, they're going to figure things out. So that part got me a bit. Kelly running off was a whole, we know why. The only reason Kelly runs off is because they know they're going to reunite at the end. The writers, again, they're going to reunite at the end of the episode. So they need to forget about the whole strategic planning of going out and looking for Carol. So they just have Kelly run off. I immediately wanted the character dead because it was just annoying as shit. She runs off. The character knows that other characters are going to get nervous and chase after her, putting their lives in danger. These are supposed to be her friends and her family, and just kill the character already. Anyway, Daryl, they have this badass moment where he comes in to torture the guy, and we get a cool gore moment with the guys being tortured, but then they have Daryl just start punching the guy. He's already beaten to a bloody pulp. Now they move on later to chopping his fingers off, and I feel like they should have just done that from the gate. My critique here is take half of the Daryl scene, keep the back half, skip the first half, and get it moving, because it really felt like it was a deflated entrance for Daryl. It was supposed to be badass. It was deflated. Then it ended pretty good. It wasn't as subtle as like Daryl trying to hint to him, like, tell us where they are, and Daryl can help in some way for them getting away. I wanted to show this. I found this funny. She takes a knife, and if anyone's ever carved or used a knife for anything, she goes not alone. She carves it. Now, right here, you can see like singular cuts, and with the knife, it's going to be really thin, you know? And then when they show it, it's almost as if they unintentionally did a satire scene where in a spoof movie where you'll see somebody, scribble on a piece of paper, and then when they show the paper, it's like this beautiful, huge, complex piece of art. Well, she does this like not alone with single cuts, and then they cut to this. Let me make sure the volume's not killing you, though. Let me turn that volume down. I don't know how loud that's going to be for you guys. Hold on. He's like, oh, God. Yeah, and then they cut back to this, and you can see each like the line on the no, there's 3 lines. Each line had like 15 to 20 scrapes. 1, 2, just for the N alone. The circles got a ton of circles. You're just not doing that with the knife, and it just looks... I don't know. Whoever thought of it, I don't know. Even the T, like, she's getting singular cuts. Those little subtle moments, I just don't understand where the disconnect is. Because when they're filming that, that's most likely somebody else's job. Somebody in the set department, they go off to the side, they create this, they bring it over, they're like, oh, do you like how it looks? No, they pick out the picture, they pick out the cuts. I'm assuming they do that before they film this, and then when they go in for the close-ups, because they don't have to film the close-ups the same time as this if the actors aren't in the same scene. And I'm assuming they get a look at it and they go, okay, and then they can instruct Connie. The big point out, because this is something small, it's irrelevant almost, but the point is there's a lot of other stuff in the story and in the writing and how it's done that is exactly like this in other parts that are a lot more relevant, distracting, immersion breaking. Let's go over to in episode 2 or 3 or something like that. Maggie said, we know 2 things about the Reapers. They come at night, and by the time you see them, you're dead. And that's bullshit in this episode, because not only do they come during the day, they attack them during the daytime, but they see them coming ahead of time and hide. Now, yes, Daryl did give them a little warning, but I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, if you know it's coming up, maybe don't write a line like that. Do it in some way where, I don't know. Again, you could have mixed it up a number of different ways, but maybe that's a small thing. One thing I do find ridiculous is the masks. They give characters cool looks, and now they're not wearing them at all. That was a big thing with the Reapers. They're always rolling around with their masks, and now that we meet the characters, they're not even wearing their masks anymore. Even when it would make sense, they're gonna raid this house, so don't put on your protective mask. Some of the masks do look protective. Some are probably just for fear factor, intimidation, yada yada yada. But the one guy's mask looked metal. And that other guy, too, I think this is primarily for episode 7. His mask is... am I reviewing the wrong episode? Yeah, I think it's episode 7. His mask, he's not wearing it either. Maggie's friend. For the whole episode, I'm like, I know the guy's face. He was in the other episode, but who is this fucking guy? And where's the guy with the mask? And then it dawned on me, oh shit, that is the guy with the mask. Why isn't he wearing it? Another thing, Virgil knows that what's her name is deaf, and she's banging on the wall. And instead of doing something where there's some depth where Virgil is like, that might be her, but it might be an enemy. He's going to stab it, but he's nervous. Should he, don't he? Should he, don't he? Instead of that, he just goes ham and stabs the wall. And she's like, oh, you know. Some of that intense stuff drives me way out of it because it's more stupid than intense. Like, I'm no longer, if it's a dumb scene, I'm no longer interested or fearful, and the tension's not building about what's going to happen to the character. I don't know if anyone else gets like that, but if you do something real stupid, it just kind of drags me out of the whole moment. And also, there's a creature, a cannibal animal human guy or whatever, coming up behind him as she's pounding on the wall, and instead of her stopping so maybe he can hear them coming up behind him, she just keeps pounding. Stupid moments like that, I'm just like, come on now. And they yell hungry. In case you didn't know, the writers think you're so stupid when the cannibal animal humanistic cannibal animals, humans, are attacking Virgil. He's like, hungry. We get it. We get it, writers. You don't have to really beat us over the head with a sledgehammer. We know what's going on. Virgil says, leave me, and then he's stabbed to shit. How is this not laughed? I even wrote this in my notes. How is shit like this not laughed out of the writers' room / Zoom meetings for the writers? How do you guys don't bust into laughter and go, we can't do that? Every time you do something with a character like this, they get injured gravely or killed. And you know it's coming up. I just don't understand. And it seems so out of nowhere. He's perfectly fine here. Why would he even need to tell her to... I wasn't digging it. One thing I do love, though, and I did really enjoy, is after he does get wounded and she can't pull him out of there, they're in front of the door. They're surrounded by the cannibal animals, humans, and she covers herself in guts from the walker. Yes, the cannibal animal humans are giving her plenty of time to get this to set this up. But I like the fact that she covers herself, you know, he's injured, and then she opens the door and they come in and they're kind of just chilling and shielded. Something about that guts moment, we've seen guts moments plenty of times. Something about that moment, I was like, yes, because again, this is something that is a useful technique in the zombie apocalypse, so we should see it when it makes sense for the characters to utilize it. This is a time where it felt like the writers could have went out of their way to do something totally different, and I think I would have, sometimes we have critiqued them by saying, why don't they use the guts anymore? It's right there. There's guts right there. Yada, yada, yada. I like this a lot. This is my favorite part of the episode right here. They even got blocked by the door. It was perfect. It came right in. Where they lost me, though, is going from this scene to them just exiting the house. It didn't feel, the transition just felt abrupt. But anyway, they exit the house, and that's where Kelly and them show up. I don't give a flying fuck about the reunion. I don't know. When they had the reunion, I just didn't care. It felt more like, finally, okay, Connie's back until, I mean, this is the final season, so obviously they can structure her schedule around whatever she's doing with Marvel if she's still working on that. I don't know what production is doing. I don't know how far along it is or if they wrapped filming already. I know nothing. All I know is she stopped working on The Walking Dead to work with Marvel. I'm assuming she's back now and she's going to finish this out and then just be done with it when they end the next set of episodes. But yeah, they get their reunion. It's fine. And then we go to Daryl and they do some fake out like, oh, Pope, found out some information. Dun dun dun. I don't give a shit about them. The next episode coming up, we'll review probably this week. Let me see. Maybe we'll do another mini video, 10 to 20 minute video, and then we're gonna do a stream this Sunday night if everything goes well. And I will not be reviewing World Beyond. The only way I'm touching World Beyond is if I make a movie video shitting on it, because I did just say screw it and watch episode 1 on AMC Plus, and it is absolutely atrocious. Within the first 13 minutes of the new episode, they go, psych, we gotcha, and they just completely, what's the best way to put it? Spoiler free. They completely take the ending of the first season and they say, let's rewind it, a bit, story arc wise, because the characters are still where they're at, when they ended. But let's rewind the story arc and let's replay that damn story arc for episode 1. You're going to have to watch it to understand specifically what I'm saying, spoiler free, but it's really, really, really dumb. It is on a scale of, dumbest episode in the world of Walking Dead as a whole. It's up there as one of the absolute dumbest. Like, they're going out of their way to save this girl because she's supposed to be super smart. And they do, what was the one thing that, she was like so incredibly smart. And she tells her enemy her inner plans of not cooperating with the enemy, but pretending she's going to cooperate with the enemy. Yeah, this is the genius girl that they got for their experiments. There was another scene in the first 15 minutes where that smart individual does something so incredibly dumb, and they have dreams. Everything's a dream. Everything's a hallucination. I'm not doing it. World Beyond is trash. It is friggin' trash. But what do you expect? Because season 1 is gone and there was no hype for it. So they decided to make it a 2-season event instead of it being because this was supposed to be the hit for the young audience. It flopped, so they made it into a 2-season event. And then from that point on, everybody working on season 2 is so focused on what their next job is going to be. Nobody gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to figure out where they're going to be working when season 2 is over. Anyway, I'm out of here. Leave your thoughts and opinions in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. And stay tuned for Friday, part 5, Flaw vs. All review. Goodbye. Good night. Be safe.